full of slices over here, and I actually ate half the pie already. Also, I've read your comments and concerns. Okay, it's not the bud list, but I do have to address something. People say, isn't Title Pie just tiers with a pie?
No.
It seems like they're just doing it so Wilds can eat a pie. Not 100% wrong.
No.
But that is an accusation.
Okay, well, that's
out there.
Yeah, you know who's making that accusation? Dopey people.
Oh my goodness.
Well, by the way, we like dopey people to watch the show. It's fine. Sometimes you lose the remote, you watch longer. But the point it like tiers has names.
Yes.
Has a committee.
Yes.
Teams are on the same tier.
Yes.
Title Pie is clearly oddly tiered, in from smallest to biggest.
And we have a pie.
And there is a pie.
It's like tiers with a pie.
To the pie, only 6 teams left. 2%, Kevin Wilds. And that's being a little generous. But when you're one of 6 left, I got to give you a slice. 1% seemed too small. And if somehow they were to beat the Knicks, I would give them a 35% chance of beating Indiana. Like, you know what I mean? Like a little better than 1 in 3. And so,
if they beat the Knicks, come back 3-1
without Tatum, then you got to
give them a shot.
You got to give them a shot. That's what I said. About 35%.
I say 30.
Yeah. So 2% for Boston. They are, of course, down to 2%. Up to 12%, the Indiana Pacers. Now, some folks might say they deserve a larger slice than that.
Probably.
The problem is, for my purposes of making the pie, I would not pick them against the Knicks in the next round. I would pick them against Boston, but I would not pick them against the Knicks. And no matter who comes out of the West, I would pick them over Indiana. I think Indiana has validated their run to the conference finals last year, and I think it's really, and I wouldn't be shocked if they beat the Knicks in the next round, or Boston if Boston were to get there, but I wouldn't. They're not going to have home court. I think that where the Pacers have been really good is closing out these games. And the Knicks have been better than that than just about anybody this postseason. So 12% for Indiana. Up all the way to 18%, the team that fired its coach and now keeps shortening the conference finals. Or the conference semifinals.
It's down to what?
No, for real.
Yeah,
like that. But that's, I don't know if you guys remember, after game 1, I said,
Classic 2.
Thank you, KW.
Classic 2. As soon as it happened, I said, Classic 2.
Well, I mean, I don't.
Called it.
No, I don't know that I called it. I mean, I picked Oklahoma City, but I said if you're Denver, the goal was to make it a best of 5, and then once it goes back to Denver, the goal is to just get one of them, make it a best of 3, and then the goal is to make it a winner-take-all game when you have the best player in the world and see what happens. And I think they have seen just enough from the others, as you were talking about, that maybe they can, give Strother an earlier look if Russ is struggling the way he is, or if Michael Porter Jr.'s shoulder flares up, and you have more of a chance. Up all the way to 20% is the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, I got to be honest. I would have liked to give them a bigger slice, not only because they're actually in the conference finals, but because they weren't in the conference finals last year. They have a guy who we think could be face of the league. Julius Randle's playing the best ball of his life. Here's what prevented me. I don't think they have played a start-to-finish awesome game since Game 4 against the Lakers. I think Game 5 against the Lakers, they were bad and they won anyway. And then Game 1 against Golden State, they were bad. And then Games 2 through 5, they played, I think, a grand total in those 4 games of 48 minutes of excellent basketball.
Game 5,
I do agree with
played.
some of that. They really didn't demolish the Warriors even without Steph.
Right. That's what I'm saying, which is maybe that's Ant learning his lesson as far as him being exhausted and being like, I'm not trying to be exhausted by round 3 because I'm trying to get to round 4. We can do it without it, but I just haven't seen them, you know what I mean, look the way they looked at the end of the regular season, beginning of the series against the Lakers. Sure. I just need them to kick it back into gear. This, right now, this moment might be a top 10 moment of the last 25 years of Knicks basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Up to 23%. No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about this specific thing.
Episode of the
They've never had that much pie.
I mean, for 23% for the New York Knickerbockers, it is a remarkable place we're in, where they, in 8 hours, they might be the Vegas favorite to go to the championship, to go to the NBA Finals. And I think that the only nits to pick really with this team right now is you would like to get a little more offensive consistency from people not named Jalen Brunson.
Yes.
Cat for sure, but also like OG doesn't have to give you 20. But the 1 for 12 and
pencil in
right,
14.
yeah, and Mikhail also, we know what he can do. And then down all the way from 51% to just 25% is Oklahoma City. And that is a twofold reason. One is I think they can lose Sunday. And the other is I think that they are in a very tough spot, even if they win Sunday, for the beginning of that series against Minnesota, as far as what they're going to have to exert to get through this round and the confidence that the non-Shea guys will or won't have. They still deserve to be the favorite, but they are the slightest favorite to this point. That is the latest edition of Title Pie.
All right, I am shaking it up. I am putting Minnesota as the new favorite.
Really?
The favorite?
Yes, because I think the West is obviously better than the East.
Yes.
And I think the Western team is going to be favored most likely.
Yes.
And should be. And so whatever you think, and I agree, they haven't, like they are kind of an up and down, loosey-goosey team. I love the fact in the press conference after they clinched the trip to the conference finals, that Rudy Gobert, I don't know if you guys saw it, he was asked, are you guys satisfied? And Ant, who was on the podium with him, said, no, he ain't satisfied. He's not satisfied. Like, he spoke for him. That's the leadership I want to see.
I don't know.
And I talked about Ant when he was coming out of the after the Lakers series, and he's walking through the city, and I felt like you look like you're happy to be there. And what he did on that podium told me, no, we're not happy to be here. We got here last year, we're ready to win it. And then whatever you say, Nick, about they were up and down, they didn't look great. Bottom line is they took out a Lakers team that people can rip the Lakers all they want now. That Lakers team was pretty good. And maybe if they get a different matchup, they might still be playing for all we know. And you had two all-time great players, took them out in 5. And then Golden State, obviously without Steph, is not the same team, but still took them out in 5. And so they get to sit there and rest.
Yes.
Right?
That part's so big.
Yes, and Denver has had, some tough series. OKC, whoever comes out of this is a tough knockdown, drag-out series. So Minnesota will have an early advantage. And remember, they were 2-2, Minnesota and OKC, when they played in the regular season. Minnesota has beaten Denver the last 6 times they played. 4-0 this year, last 2 playoff games. It's tough to beat them again, because it was a 7-game series last year. But still, I like Minnesota. And I'm leaning on the other side quickly. I'm leaning my hometown of Naptown.
Oh, no, poor Pacers.
Over the Knicks, leaning.
Pacers.
I'm leaning.
First and Broussard.
This is exactly, see this graphic right here? This is exactly what the Celtics want. Jason Tatum got hurt, and people leapt over the Celtics, leapt over the Pacers, started talking about what would happen if Jalen Brunson wins the championship. I've never seen so much projection and the real conversations about it. We're not having conversations about SGA yet or Ant. We're like, well, we're not there yet. But there was real conversations like, oh, the city should start playing in the parade. Don't let us win tonight. Remember I said that before? What happened? Yeah?
They won.
You saw it? Elimination games. This team has been up against the wall. And what happens? Well, they've got the hottest streak, oddly, when they're facing eliminations. If they win tonight.
On the road.
On the road, yes. Road elimination games. All of a sudden, they'd be the best road elimination team ever, Josh? Would that be a strange stat? Again, the no Tatum thing.
Celtics.
Yeah, also 2 Celtics.
Well, and Russell.
Speaking of Celtics, 6th man of the year. Now, if you win 6th man of the year, if your starter gets hurt, you should have the advantage. So let's look at 1 6th man and an NBA title. If you notice, 2 more Celtics.
Did any of the, so let's just think about this. So
Did Bird
those
get
teams,
hurt
did
more
Bird, Michael Jordan, or Dr. J/Moses get hurt midway through those playoff runs, and those 6 men heroically then led the team to a title?
How many wins after Michael Jordan retired did Scottie Pippen and Tony Kukoc have the next year?
After he retired?
Yeah, after he retired.
Which time? Because the first time he had 54 wins.
First time.
That was it.
First time he had 54 wins.
What did they have the previous game? With
56.
Yeah, exactly.
Kukoc wasn't even on that team then.
What's the stat then?
Go
I thought
ahead.
there was some good Kukoc, Scottie Pippen stat, no?
Kukoc wasn't on the team before Jordan retired.
It wasn't
Go
ready
ahead.
for that. That was a pop quiz. I was trying to talk about
You were
the Celtics.
quizzing
Trying to
me.
talk about the Bulls. I wasn't quizzing. I was just throwing out there. Celtics win by 7 tonight.
Celtics win by 7.
Yeah. Everyone's like, oh, what's going on? Then it'll be Knicks in 7.
Can we stay just a little bit longer?
Don't worry, we'll be back.
I can't believe they're leaving.